What do coaches do and how do they relate? This is a presentation on a study done by L. Felton and S. Jowett in 2013 on the psychological needs and functioning of athletes within sport. Today we focus so much on the physical and mental aspects of sport, but we don't dive deep into the psychological needs and functioning of said athletes. Student psychological needs in relation to what coaches do and how they relate in sports. In other words, how do we as coaches influence students in a psychological fashion rather than physical? In the study, they aim to examine the links of social environment as defined by coach interpersonal behavior and coach athlete relationships with athletes' psychological need, satisfaction, and indexes of well being. Findings support theoretical assumptions and highlight that athletes' perceptions of what coaches do and how they relate are important to their psychological needs, satisfaction, and optimal functioning. In other words, the more that coaches do and how they relate to their athletes on a psychological level usually comes with better performance from a physical standpoint within the sport environment. Theoretical framework behind this study utilized the self-determination theory, basic psychological needs theory, psychological well-being, subjective well-being, growth, development, social environment, and sport. So the psychological framework behind sport and what can go into it as a coach and what they do for their athletes. The methods they used. They had 300 athletes, 109 of those were male, 191 were female. They ranged from the ages of 15 to 30. They used multiple questionnaires after getting ethical approval from the university's ethical committee. Athletes under the age of 18 were instructed to gain parental consent before being cleared to take part in the study. In these methods, they utilized the Coach Athlete Relationship Questionnaire, CART-Q, Sport Climate Questionnaire, SCQ, Coaches Controlling Behavior Scale, CCBS, Need Satisfaction Scale, NSS, Subjective Vitality Scale, SVS, Elite Athlete Self-Description Questionnaire, EASDQ, and the International Positive and Negative Effect Schedule short form, IPANAS-SF. The table you are seeing in front of you now is the means, standard deviation, and bivariate correlations for all study variables from the descriptive analysis standpoint. This table indicates the CART-Q, the SCQC, autonomy, confidence, vitality, performance self-concept, skill self-concept, coaches controlling behaviors, negative effect, and relatedness. So, in a quick breakdown, the SCQC, autonomy, confidence, vitality, performance, SC were above the midpoint of the respective response scales. The skill self-concept was marginally above the response scales, and so the overall perceived high levels of each variable. So these were positive influences on their psychological needs. While the CCBS at the negative effect were below the midpoint, so the perceived levels were low in the importance of the psychological needs towards those athletes. You can refer to the reference sections for the complete study and the bootstrap analysis that goes along with this study conducted by them. The authors provide this study to extend the knowledge of the coach-athlete relationship by examining the effects of the social environment defined as coaching behaviors and relationships on athletes' perceptions of basic need satisfaction while relating to their coach, the effects of basic need satisfaction within relationship on athletes' experiences of both well-being and ill-being, and the mediating effects of the basic needs on associations between the social environment and indexes of well-being and ill-being. Their findings suggest that athletes' perceptions of supportive, autonomous coaching behaviors and high-quality coaching-athlete relationship may serve to fulfill important psychological needs. In other words, the psychological needs are just as important based off the results and the responses of these athletes as a coach who demands physical and mental aspects within the coaching environment. Thank you. Have a great day.